Today, there is a lot of consciousness research going on. The brain can now be scanned down to the minutest detail. The firing of neurons can be recorded through time, and the directions of the nourishing bloodstream may be observed as it flows to various centers of the brain as they are activated. We know fairly well what the different regions of the brain regulate, such as the movement of various limbs, the heartbeat and breathing, where the sensing, thought processes are located. This is all deeply interesting when it comes to neurology, but it does not say much about consciousness beyond the fact that cognitive processes do work in the brain and that it regulates some subliminal processes that keeps the body working. With the assistance of some of our most advanced scanning apparatus, you may even observe changes in the brain activity as it passes from one state of consciousness to another. Such observations have shown that different sectors of the brain are activated and others deactivated as a person falls asleep, enters deep sleep, goes into a phase of dreams, and when wakes up again. Conditions of coma and meditative states have also been studied, as well as the death process. When all brain activity ceases, the person is declared brain dead, even though there has been cases where a person has come back. Studies of the brain are of course very interesting. However, we need to understand that we are observing brain activity only. This study is partly due to a theory locating consciousness in the brain, being the control console, so to say, of the entire human being. I have not only questioned this, but also pointed out that consciousness resides in the entire body of the human being, even all living beings. It is everywhere, yet nowhere to be seen. The ghost in the machine? No, it is not as simple as Descartes once believed by placing consciousness entirely outside the body with just a small connecting point in the pineal gland located in the center of the brain. This dualistic view is now mostly considered to be a piece of late 17th century philosophy. Yet some do believe that body and mind are two different things altogether. The modern materialistic view considers the cognitive mind, even accepting the different subconscious levels, to be all there is to consciousness. They think that consciousness on all levels and in all states are generated by the physical brain alone, full stop. This view obviously limits research to the physical sphere, to neurology. Then, what about psychology, or even parapsychology? Well, the former stand-up psychology works well without considering whether consciousness is material or not, originating in the brain or not. Psychology studies how the mind works and reacts to various situations and sometimes moves into the world of the patient's dreams. It tries to solve cognitive problems that follow from life experiences and states in the subconscious that allows to produce psychological problems. Parapsychology, often considered a quasi-science, takes it a step further, considering consciousness to be immaterial and able to move without the body to any designated place and to perform seemingly impossible things. There is a wide variety of parapsychological observations that form a material point of view are designated as phenomena. Why? Because they fall outside the scope of empirical testing and proving. There is nothing to weigh and measure. So, even so, parapsychology is heavily supported by statistics. As a measuring tool, statistics defines the significance of repeated experiments, whether the results may be considered valid as proof or not. When the same results show up after repeated experimentation under identical conditions at a frequency well beyond that would be expected and haphazard, it isn't considered to be a significant proof. Standard material science used the same statistical method, by the way. So, accepted by mainstream science or not, there is certain evidence that consciousness is not material. This may give some breadth to a spiritual view, to the idea that our consciousness is spiritual and a gift from God, and even directly connected to the divine. Religious people sometimes have spiritual experiences, ecstasies. This has been known as far back as history goes, and a number of thus inspired individuals have testified to such experience in the most elevated and beautiful poetry, and even initiated new religious awakening as well as creating new religious movements. Obviously, consciousness operates at immaterial levels, even though some materialists try to explain away parapsychological and religious experiences' brain activity, not much difference from dreams. Well, we have to ask, are these experiences real, part of reality? Well, your dreams are real. You really remember a dream, and your psychologist, if you have one, will search into your dream to find something to build his analysis on. That is real science. Now let us consider another conundrum. Exactly where are you when you are dreaming? Your body most probably is deep asleep in its bed, but your attention is elsewhere, in a world that may or may not resemble the world you live in every day. The dream world is immaterial, and some quite physically impossible things takes place there. In my vocabulary, your consciousness is traveling in immaterial spaces, often beyond the space-time of daily life. The experience of both time and space may be stretched and twisted beyond comprehension. Waking up, you realize what has passed in the dream. It would have been impossible in one single night, not to say within the very few minutes that your dream lasted, in earthly clock time. This condition is stretched and twisted space-time, occurs not only in dreams, even in more meditative states and religious moments of ecstasy and illumination. An entirely different world comes into play, and you may experience some quite fantastic and impossible things, meet unearthly beings, and receive both knowledge and inspiration, often associated with immensity and light. This brings insight and understanding of the world being far more than what meets the eye in the daylight. From here, let me take you on a real journey to some much disputed means. You may enter such journey employing some advanced psychic methods, or by the careful, aimed use of various psychedelics, such as mescaline, psilocybin, LSD, and a few more. It weighs on me to give you a warning and underscore the word careful. You're not going for a wild trip, but on a journey of investigation of your own consciousness, not to blow out like dynamite. I said that entering special states of consciousness often brings insight. The word comes from seeing inwardly, insight. If you decide to try this, to make your choice and take a small dose, direct your attention inward and let go. Your first experiences may be somewhat flat in content, but perception of sensory impulses may be greatly enhanced. Once you gain experience, however, things will advance. Rooms will open up, and you will move into amazing and unknown spaces. At the same time, you will be undressed, slowly or more rapidly, not of your clothes, but of your bodies. Layer by layer, the body that you are used to will be stripped away, sometimes burnt away, with great pain, and the shells that you are used to cover behind blow away like pieces of skin or like ashes. The skins you lose are those that work well in the outer world, being your masks, the role personalities with which you represent yourself. Here they are useless, needless, and actually blocking your experience. Hence, some bad journeys will occur. You need to let fall away all of you, even yourself, and enter the all by being nothing. Naked beyond the marrow of your bones, you may meet a reality beyond every point of reference, immersed in pure cosmic consciousness. It truly takes a lot to walk this path. It cannot be done whimsically. It must have direction and a purpose that you need to define yourself. If you seek the wrong things, that is what you will encounter to your own peril. To reach the profoundest insight and community with the cosmic demands the deepest dive of your local fragment of consciousness, all that it is capable of. Yet we all have the capacity in ourselves to let go of the self. Today I will leave you to ponder and wonder. Forget theories, for this goes beyond any you may formulate. The conceptual dies out. Just be careful when trying, and preferably have someone by your side for safety. I may return to take this traveling consciousness further in an upcoming podcast, and I hope that you will be here then.